Okay, this one we'll talk about variable expansion and arrays. Okay, and we'll get into this soon on the connection server. Timing this out if I think it's because we're idle for so long. Okay, so I actually time you out. And how long? In the last one here it said ping timeout 244 seconds. Okay, so we'll get into that. But first, on arrays. Well, when we have output coming through, instead of using something like awk and grep or even sed, this is our user string. This is the whole shebang right here. And to break this apart, we have everything except for some messages starts with a colon here. Okay, you notice on the left. And our user string then starts, okay, this is actually our user without the exclamation point, and this is the user name, okay, not the nick but the username of the computer, well, or whatever they put in. Let me see. Yeah, that's their username, okay, which is unlike their nick. And in this field here, it would be their IP. In this case, unaffiliated or hidden masked or cloaked IP. And then you have what they did, like private message, the channel, which is Linux, and then finally the full message. Okay. If you were to go in with awk, you could say something like awk with a delimiter of space, or awk with a field, space and field print field, I don't know, 5, right? But if you went with space, you would have, this is field 1, this would be field 2, 3, 4. Notice that there's another space here, 5. So actually, you would only get this as a message. Well, you say, okay, well, how about field all after colon? Well, in that case, you would only have this here would be your first colon, okay? And what about the rest of the message? You could say field of space and field say 5 through, or even field 4, because remember 5 was here. We said field 4, which would be our channel, field 4 through field 99. That would probably work. But what happens if you don't know how long the message actually is and stuff like that? That's where taking this whole string would come in handy, and using it as not only a string but breaking it up into elements and making that an array, okay, and then cutting that array apart, not with awk or cut or anything else like that, but actually using variable expansion. So it's not really that complex after you hit it off a couple times, but there is some different syntax. I took a snippet from a failed tutorial, which I couldn't actually. Ooh. Let's see. List. Let's see. Chaco. No. Check it out. No. What am I doing? List. Tester. Test now. And then I want to say, how about cutter, chatter, cutter? About cut this. I actually took a snippet. I can say copy this here. and cat this out. This is actually a snippet from a failed tutorial I had, but I couldn't really ask for a better string to actually cut apart. Okay? I'm going to be cutting apart this line. This is a user message, IPv6, okay, private message to Linux, and then all this other stuff here. Okay? This is the whole message. This is actually what somebody's, they listed out their, looks like a PCI, list PCI, and sent it to the channel, you know. And it's just full of all kind of delimiters, and this is a good base to test against to actually root out any errors you may have, because when you actually make the chat, and say if you have your chat up and running for so long and some bug in your script said, for instance, like with me, was awk everything in field 1 with the delimiter of @, I was getting usernames that were not real because of my techniques on how to cut apart the line. Okay, so I mean, you could have something like that in your script until somebody lists out your PCI device or whatever, and you know, say if you set everything up with a delimiter of :, that could be a problem for you because you're only going to pick up so many fields here and not the actual whole original message. Okay, so let me say cat this awk field, I don't know, : and let me say print $2, right? Okay, well, you're only going to get this. Well, because that's a part of the IPv. How about if you do something like field 10? Okay, you're still getting input. Okay, so what I'm basically saying is, how do you cut this apart? With all these symbols in here, what do you look for as a regular expression to cut this apart? And that's where we're going to use our arrays. So temporarily, let's get rid of this. I'm just going to can it in the background. Okay, we'll make up a script here so we can cut apart this text. Let's say vim cutter.sh. Okay, now this is only temporary, and we're going to use the same variables if we can. Bin bash, and we're going to take these variables, we're going to take this text out of here and plug it into our script and see if it works. Say cat, what's the name of our script? Cut this dot txt. Okay, a change mod plus executable cutter. And if we run it, this is what we get. Cool. Okay. So let's say cat cutter. Or run cutter up here. Okay, there's our whole string. Now, if we say something like, if we just even ignore this, we put this in a while read line or something, which you would have to do if you did with awk anyway. Okay, let's say while read line do done. I don't really want to echo $line, but I can say, let's let the line, we'll let source equals, this is just a funky way I want to identify my variable, source equals $line. Okay, Now we can even say echo $_source. Okay. Now if I run my script, this is my line. Okay, cool. Now what? Now would be the point when you can awk and grep things apart, right? But we're not going to use awk and grep. This is catting out cut, or cutter, or cut.txt, the whole string. It's only one string in there. It's jam-packed full of goodies. Okay. Now we want to break apart that individual line all by itself. So instead of using cut and awk, let's take this while read line. Let's take and set this line to an array, and this should cut itself all apart. Okay, and instead of saying awk and grep and separate, this will already do that because it's an array. So let's do that again. Alright. Echo source. You can see here now that we're only getting, compared to what we were getting, shit, I can't bring these up in the same thing. This is the whole string. Okay. And now this is our what do you say? Maybe array-sized? Is that a real word? I don't know. But this is our string as an array. Alright. Echo source. You see it's chopped up and it's grabbing something. Okay? And it's actually only grabbing field 1. But if I say echo source, and with an array you need to do this, squigglies, okay, and I'm going to call all the elements of that array. Alright, and if I do it now, you'll see that my whole line is back. Okay, basically it said while read line do, set the line equal to the variable source. Right? You don't need this underscore here to signify it's an array. I just do because it just helps me out. And what signifies this as an array is actually the parentheses here. Okay? So I'm taking the line, I'm setting the line to an array, and that array is called source. Now down here, I'm going to echo out what's in the array, but I'm going to echo out all fields of the array, hence the wildcard here inside of the 2 square brackets. Okay. Now, if I was to do that without the squigglies there, this is what would happen. Okay. I would get, this is actually field 0 of the array, and my square brackets and all come out just as a square bracket and all. Okay, it doesn't really do anything. It just comes out as an echoed out bunch of symbols there. Okay, so let me go ahead, squiggly bracket this off, and I can actually say let me fix this. I was to say something like, I want to keep this, I'll move this down. Man, I screwed that all up. Okay. Let me move this down out of the way, so we can compare. Paste that. If I say echo source, remember we only had like the first bit. Okay? And this is both. This is actually field 0. This here is all fields of that array. We can see it's field 0 just by saying calling element 0. Okay? You can see here nothing changed. It's element 0. Now if I say something like instead of all elements, how about element 2? Okay. If I do it again, element 2 cuts it apart, and we'll see Linux, and that is our channel name. Okay. If we say element 0, this would be element 0 of no spaces or anything. Element 1 is actually the private message, and element 2 would actually be the channel name. Okay? So that's a really handy way of cutting things apart. Let's make up something down here. We'll say echo this. Alright? So while read line do source equals $line. Okay. If we echo out the second element of source, we know that we get a channel name. Okay? How about, I like that idea. We can use that sometime. Let me comment that out. We'll say echo source. You can find how many elements are actually in the array if you say source all and come here right at the start of the squigglies and say £. Okay, and that will actually give you the numbers of elements in the array. In this case, it's 16. Okay, you can count them starting at 0. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is all space delimited. Okay, I'm not going to count the rest of them, but you get that idea. All right. So I don't really need to know the number of elements in it. But what I do want to do is, source 2 would be the channel name. Let's go for the hardest thing. Let's go for the text, the user text, and see how far we can get that. The channel message itself. 2 is channel name is 3. The text. Okay. Well, 3 is the third element, but however there are spaces after here, right? Okay. So that's not going to happen. So element 3. Can I say there's a method of variable expansion? Okay. And basically, instead of calling the third element alone, what I want to do is I'm going to take this out. I'm going to say all. Okay. These two texts should be the same. All right. Now, if I take this and I say I want to call source all elements of the array source, and if I put this colon here, this will set me up into a method of variable expansion. I can say 1, 2 is the third element. Okay, all after the third element. So really what's happening here is source all, I'm using the third element and everything after the third element. Okay, and if I look, see that everything after the third element is actually the user string. Okay, now if I say after the second element, what I should get is I will get channel, because it is the second element of the array. Remember, 0, 1. I'll get channel, and I'll get everything in the third element, which is my whole user's text. So that's cool. If I say that, enter, I have isolated my user string. Okay, so let me call this channel message equals that. And the reason why I put these blocks down here, because I'm going to echo out $, remember your squigglies, channel message. And we'll see if that goes in the same pile. Okay, there we go. So this is our channel message here. Not considering anything about pretty much spaces or colons or brackets or anything else or other weird syntax or ampersands or any or capital or lowercase. Okay, everything after the third array is going to be considered a channel message. So cool. Now let's go ahead and we'll cut this apart some more. What do we usually see during IRC chat? We see the channel, we see the message, most importantly we see the user, but since we know that the second element is the channel name, let's add that. Source2 would be the channel name, so we'll change that variable. Say channel name equals source2. Down here we'll call it. We'll use it. Say $, channel name. Okay. And we can give it a little space there just to make everything look a little bit better. Let's do that. Alright. This is how our string will look in the top when we use this in our chat. Looks good. Compare it to this here. Okay. It's all busted up. Okay. And now we need the user. The user, it's going to be a little different. If we say source 0 like we did before, let me see if I still have that in here. I don't. If I say echo $, source 0, okay, we see here we have the beginnings of a username, well, the beginning of the nick, and then we have the username and IP, everything else like that, okay? And source 0 is only going to bust it up here to the limits of the space. So the whole thing is not really the username. We don't really want to see that when we pop out. We only want the username. Let's figure out how we're going to cut this apart. If I say source 0 and if I go, this is a method of variable expansion, and I say all after or forward all colon, okay? There's two methods of syntax here. This is going to take source 0 and go from the left or forward from the left the first instance of all colon. Let's see what will happen. Okay, see the username disappeared a little bit and is actually now it took everything from after the first instance of colon, okay, and this is what we have, and we still have this long IPv thing. Now if I say forward from the longest instance of colon, if I do that, this only grabs the last octet of the IPv. Okay, so that's really not helping us. Okay, but you can also come from the right, and you would say something like from the right, and what your delimiter would be, let's say exclamation point, and you want to get everything after or everything past that. Now you're actually going backwards. Okay, and this is from the shortest instance of the exclamation point. Okay, which actually is your username, but you still have dots there. Now, how about if I say from the right longest instance of exclamation point, but you still get the same thing, okay? Because there's only one instance of exclamation point. That's pretty good. But we can make it a little bit better. Let's say we're going to take the longest, because usernames or nicknames don't really have exclamation points in them, so we're okay with this. If I take this, I'm going to name this user role equals that. Now, if I say something like echo user role clear, see we still have this here. This is our variable, okay, and I want to take user role all elements, or I want to take forward all colon. Okay, and now we have an isolated username. Okay, so let's add that down here. We'll call user name equals that, and we'll say echo user name. Don't forget your squigglies. Okay. Alright, so that's how our string would look. Let's add some funky things in here. We'll just put in an ampersand, or an @ sign there. Okay, so we'll say something like, it'll say user at the channel. Okay, and we don't need to really hook up any colons here, because this is actually formed already for us. This will not change. This first set of colons won't change. Okay, this other stuff here is part of the text. You know? Alright. So let's get rid of this. We'll get rid of this. And let's take this source. Take this. We'll plug this into our script. Say vi chat. Oh, not vi, vim. I don't know where Slack was. Vi is not nice. Say while read line do read message. Okay. This is our message. We don't want to. We actually want to put this before all of our messages, because we want to be able to respond to the messages before we actually, or you know what I mean. Okay. So we'll move that down. While read line do, and then we'll paste what we cut apart. Alright, we're going to fix this up some. Okay. A long time ago I changed my tab separator to be how I want to write my scripts. Now I have to reconfigure all of that. Okay. So say while forever do, and then we're going to jump immediately into while read line do. Okay. And we want to take the line, or the source, which is going to come down from the server. Well, hold on. No, that's not it. That's not it at all. Because we're going to say while forever do, and then it's going to be while read line do. But what are you reading? Remember, we have our output that's coming through file descriptor 4, so we need to re-initiate that. We're going to say cat out file descriptor 4 and pipe it. Okay? Now that should get us we can cat these out again. That's okay. This first cat here is just to show us the connection that's already coming out. But it's not doing anything because it's just sending to the screen. Alright? But now if we put this cat in, cat out 4, and we're actually doing something to this cat, we can actually make something happen here. While read line do, source, setting it to an array, channel name is an element of the source, same with message. User raw is just a busted up array, okay, and then we're going to refine it with username. And then we're just going to echo out those fields, and that's it. Then we should be able to send input, right? While read line do, I didn't set up my done here. Because this is different from the rest of my script. Okay. If I say .run chat cat.sh, logging in, I think. Okay, there we go. Some user. Now let's say I want to join Freenode. Okay, nothing happens. Well, it shouldn't happen, because what's happening, clear, Control L, say nothing else works, because all the way up to this point we're going to be reading our output while read line do, source equals that, blah 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 blah, okay, and echo out the source, but now it's just staying in this loop here, alright, which isn't good for us because now we can't do anything like control the output, or control the input or anything else, so it doesn't really do us any good. But if we take this and we also background this, okay, if we background it now, let's run it. By the way, I don't know why this picks up everything else in my directory. Okay, no indent, some user nick is already registered. Alright, so let's say now we can send to server. Let's say nick some user 1. Okay, some user 1, no text to send, should have auto joined, that timed out. We'll have a look-see. Okay, what's up? Cannot send to channel. Did I join the channel? Join Grub 4DOS. Okay, what's up? Okay, there we go. I joined the channel, and here I am. Hi. This isn't coming out anywhere near. This is all still jumbled up. Let's go figure out why. Quit. Okay. Fi chat stuff. Vim chat cat.sh. Okay, that's a start. Right, quit. I never wrote it. I pasted it. Say quit now. Okay, I pasted all my stuff, but I never wrote it. How about let's run it now. My username is still stuck up in there, but if I say Nick some user 1 somebody else, let's see, join, I think that join grub 4DOS, what the mess. Oh, okay, I'm getting double here, and the reason why I'm getting double, I think, yeah, the reason why I'm getting double is because my old user, some user, is still here, okay, but he just left, ping timeout, okay. So now let me see, Control L, and I say, how about now? Okay. Now I see no input. I see no input coming to my screen in the chat. What the mess, man? Okay. And output looks something like that. So let's see how it looks in the real world. Let me join. Let's say Ubuntu. I still got a whole blurb there. And then we'll join. Okay, you can't really count that because I was stuck in a command at the moment. Watch, I'll do something and it'll say something else and screw it all up again about Linux. Somebody talk. Okay. Loop read error. Okay, they got canned. Figure out how to deal with those messages. How about shit. Join Freenode. Okay. We'll get some output. Okay. We're picking up messages like this. Ailord at Freenode. Okay. Another Ailord at Freenode. Okay, here's a real message. I guess snarf at Linux. Okay. Here's the commit. Here's the message. Okay. But let's see what this other stuff is. Linux looks like it's popping off with a lot of activity, so we'll see Linux. Command grep v. Okay, this is 2 user snarf. You know, there you go. Which would be pretty hard to do with a grep. Okay. Okay, that looks good. Connection read error loop at connection read error. Okay, this is actually what happened here, but we can't tell from up here what actually happened. Alright. Let's join Ubuntu. Let's see what that looks like. And basically this is telling us either somebody's parted or joined this channel, but no message. Okay. So in our script we actually have it set up to only call for messages, or actually respond or read messages, right? But we still have all these other things that do occur that are not messages, but we would still like to get that output on them. Okay. So in the next one, we have the messages out of the way. You can see this one here. Okay, it's a join, and the front's cut up a little bit. We have the messages out of the way. We'll focus on how we're going to handle the rest of the output. So that's that.